Hello, everybody, and welcome to Western Oklahoma Sports Night. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog, here with you. And, folks, it is football playoff time in Western Oklahoma, and we are bringing you the heat tonight. And it is going to be a great show as we're going to have a lot of very knowledgeable folks talking about their teams for the football playoffs on this season. And joining me, who's a bit of a co-host tonight, since unfortunately the Watauga Eagles did not make the playoffs, but it is Luke Clement joining me here, and he's up there at the top right of your screen. And Luke is the sports director at Wright Media. So Luke, man, thanks for taking time to join with me here. You've been on before. We've talked some stuff on Western Oklahoma Sports Night, but we will be covering all the bases for the most part tonight on our stream. How have you been?
I've been good. Thanks for having me. It's always a good time to be with the Lawdog.
Sure thing. Well, it's playoff time, and we've got teams on the network. We've got teams on the Elk City network in the playoffs, and it's going to be just a really crazy Friday night for you. Talk about the dread you have coming home from a game and knowing you've got to clip audio for the sports on Saturday mornings.
The work has just begun. When I get done at a Watauga football game, you got to go home or go back to the station and recap everybody's stream. And this year there's been some crazy games. So you have those crazy games and you're there longer, but it's all in good fun. That's what I want to do. So I love it.
Fortunately, you weren't having to cover that Fairview Cashin game last week, which was a just kind of a debacle. And Squirtle made a good press junket off of that, I think, after he moved to Crescent. But that's just high school football in Oklahoma. It's craziness sometimes. And it's like they told us in the police academy: adapt and overcome. You've got to figure it out, and that's what they did. We'll go ahead and run down the list of our guests tonight and kind of hear from both of them. Let's go ahead and start with our Class A friends. Kenny McGuire, part of the Thomas Terrier broadcast, along with Mike Crow. They are on Terrier TV on Wright.media and also KCLI 99.3 FM. Kenny, how are you doing, buddy?
Good, sir. How are you?
Doing well, and we'll get into some Thomas Terrier action, but you guys open with Ringling, and as always, and who wouldn't expect it, you've got Hominy right there in your corner of the bracket.
Yeah, they're looming over there, and hopefully we get to see them in the second round for sure.
All right. Max Patten is the voice of Sayre Eagles football on Sayre Eagles TV, and no radio for Sayre Eagles TV, but Max is ruler of the airways out there. And, well, I take that back. There's a competition between him and Skinny Kauk. But Beckham County, Max claims it, and I've yet to see anybody other than the Hooker folks really challenge Max too much. Max Patten, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Thanks for bringing that up, Chuck.
You really have some super fans out in Hooker America, don't you?
I'm telling you, they love me in Hooker. I'm the most famous person out there.
Well, you guys have a tough Wynnewood team upcoming, and we'll get into more of that and what you guys know about Wynnewood. But when I think Wynnewood, the first thing I think about is the 3 or 4 Heisman trophies that James Allen was supposed to win for OU when he came to Norman from Wynnewood. And do they have anything reminiscent of James Allen there?
Man, they got speed all over the place. They've got the kid he's a running back for Baylor. And his cousin plays on Wynnewood's team, and his name
Hayden Knighton was from Wynnewood and transferred to Pauls Valley, and he's running the rock for Baylor. We'll get into more of that preview as we go. Aaron Kauk is the voice of Elk City Elk football and sports on Kool 94 and Paragon Communications Big Elk TV. Skinny, you got your own program every morning at 9 on KADS, I believe it is. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Does Max want to meet us at Davis for a little Smoking Joe's Rib Shack?
Hey, that sounds like a plan.
Since you say that, before the debacle with the OSSAA, we thought we were going to have to carpool with Max to Wynnewood and then head on down to Ardmore. And shoot, if we'd have known we would have rented a big bus just to haul everybody down there to take Elk City and the Beckham County teams.
Be sure to get those fried pies on the way back too.
Oh yeah, Smoking Joe's in Davis. That would have been probably my destination. And then also joining us tonight, he is the sideline commentator for Red Tornado TV and 97.3 The Score, Marty Wandrie. works with the great Dennis Smith and Alan Bryson. Marty, we'll get into Clinton's situation later on, but this has been really a topsy-turvy season for the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, it's been up and down. We've been, plagued by injuries this year. I think the last game against Douglas was our first time we had all our starting unit back since game 3.
Yeah.
It's been up and down with the injuries and some other stuff that came there at the end of the season.
For sure. All right. So let's get into it. And we want to hear from you. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Lawdog Sports. And you can comment, and we will read your comment on the air as long as it's nothing too rude, and give us your take on any of the playoff games involving Western Oklahoma teams. Let's start with Kenny McGuire, part of the broadcast team for Thomas Terrier football. And Kenny, what do we know about this Ringling team? I know they have a lot of tradition down there, and they are probably going to come up here. Little myth that they have to make the trip to Custer County.
Yeah, it's about 3 hours to get up here, but they've come up here a couple times, and it's usually a really good football game. But there's one thing about them: even if they are 5-4 or 6-4, they're going to come ready to hit, and they're a bunch of good, strong kids.
For sure. And I tell you, me and Luke were talking off the air, and I think you might have been with us. This Thomas Terrier team has really just been a team that gets out quick, and really they even kind of got out quick on Mangum, a game that they lost by a score. But there's so much weaponry on this Thomas Terrier offense. Talk about what they do and what they do well.
Yeah, we had a little hiccup early in the year where we lost a running back, and but Cash Willis, sophomore, he stepped up and he turned into a really good running back for us. He's shifty, really fast, but whenever you look at the passing game, we've got just an arsenal of folks. Of course, Ty Littlebird at the helm, but I'm just going to run down a few of the folks here. You got Tristan Dobbins, you've got Landon Wald, which unfortunately he's got just a bit of a knee injury right now. I don't think we're going to see him. Warren Comensiva, you got Harper Hamer, those kind of guys that are just really, really good in about everything that they do. They can run the football, they can also catch, and they're fast, so you can take them deep.
Luke, Clement, you are the sideline reporter for SWOSU football. I think Coach Andrew Rice has taken some interest in Landon Wald.
I think he should. Landon Wald is an athlete. Another receiver I want to ask you about, Kenny, that I also have experience calling is Tristan Dobbins. He transferred over to Thomas from Watauga this year. Talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, he did. I tell you what, he is a monster of a kid. He's just, whenever you talk about an outside receiver also playing defensive end for you, he's a big, strong, fast kid, and we're happy to have him in Terrier Green, that's for sure.
And I tell you, in full transparency, I'm the voice of Weatherford football and Weatherford sports, but I actually live in Thomas. And Ty Littlebird and Warren Comensiva are my neighbors. And I got to say, kudos to Coach Matt Hart and Coach Bob Ward and the whole coaching staff. This last summer, Warren came back with a little extra muscle on him, and Ty's a little bit bigger too. And I think about the season I called Thomas football, and like the 70-12 loss to Fairview, and it's like Ty just, and the game at Texoma, Ty just took such a beating all night long, and I thought, he's not the biggest guy. Can he withstand it?
Right. Yeah. And he's tougher than nails. He plays like he's 6'3", 225, but he's definitely not that big, but he's shifty and just tough as nails. But the last 2 years, of course, we've had really good football teams. Hopefully we'll make a good run this year in the playoffs, but our offensive line, I tell you what, they've done a splendid job for the last 2 years, and we lost quite a few seniors last year, but it's just like the next man up. Let's see what we can do to keep Ty's jersey clean.
For sure. And talk about the defense that Coach Matt Hart runs out there. They've been a shutdown unit. Like I said, they gave up probably more scores than they anticipated against Mangum, but Mangum we know is a really good team. What is it that Coach Hart has these guys doing that makes him such a vaunted defense?
Well, it's kind of fun to watch. I tell you, he likes to blitz, especially with the speed he's got this year. He runs a little 3-4, and his defensive line, he can trot 3 in, 3 out and keep them fresh. So that's a really nice problem to have right there. But he likes to send them, so that's a good sign.
Go ahead, Luke.
Kenny, staying with the coaching staff, Bob Ward, you think about Thomas football, it's hard not to talk about Bob Ward.
Yeah.
And I always love listening to your post-game interviews with him.
It's a blast going down there. You know, a couple of those times we were talking a little bit off the air here that about us being at some of the smaller stadiums. He keeps looking at me up there saying, "Hey, are you going to come and give me my interview?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't have good phone reception, so this just ain't going to work here, part." But Coach Ward will give you one of the best interviews you'll ever get as a coach. He's going to answer every question. And it's a lot of fun with him. He's not only a good coach, he's a good friend, and it's fun being down there on the field with him.
Luke and I can both attest that, and Skinny, you could relate to this too. Bob Ward is the best interview in Western Oklahoma. He gives you concise 20-second clips, nothing less, nothing more. And what he gives you is totally usable. Very little editing. It'll hit all the bases. It's all coach speak. We know that. The only one you don't get coach speak from is John Higbee. Always fun to interview Coach Ward, and then also just always great to see that the way that Thomas coaching staff interacts with the players and how the most they get out of that team. Kenny, obviously this Thomas Terrier team has state title ambitions. Looking at the brackets, they'll play Ringling more than likely. I mean, Hominy or Regent Prep, that could be either or. But then you're on the same side of the bracket as Kanawha, Southwest Covenant, Allen, and Woodland. I got to say, district championship, you have a good chance. The Mangum Tigers have a good chance of facing Tallahena in the semis.
It's looking like going to get Tallahena, and they can have
Maryland.
them. Yeah, and they either one are going to be tough. But whenever I started, when we started district play, I kind of looked at them, and throughout the weeks, I thought there's 4 teams that could really win a state championship here, and Tallahena, Mangum, us, and Hominy was who I came up with, who I thought had a chance to do that. But there's some good football out there, but. Like Coach Ward always says, just tell us who we're going to play and where we're going to play, and we'll be there.
That, and I think that resounds with his team also. All right, so Class A, Division II, Thomas Terriers, a favorite to have a chance to get to. Is it still Wantland, or is it Richardson now?
Yeah, it's UCO. Yeah,
UCO. Yeah, I think on Friday night finals, Aaron, you might vouch for this. We used to call it the road to Wantland.
I'm afraid we have to call that Chad Richardson Stadium.
Yeah, I was going to say Paycom or something now. Yeah. But anyways, it'll be a fun one to watch you guys as you advance. Kenny, thanks so much, and good luck to you and Mike Crow on your broadcast Friday night against Ringling.
Yeah, thank you, man. And hopefully we win one.
I hope so, too. Kenny McGuire, color commentary for the Thomas Terriers on Terrier TV and KCLI 99.3 FM. You can hear them 6:30 on Friday night. Let's move on up to Class A Division I, and the Sayre Eagles have made the playoffs for the first time in how many years, Max Patten?
Well, just 4 years, but 4 years ago was COVID, and so the rules to get in the playoffs were slacked a little bit that year, but they were in the playoffs the year before that, but 15 years since they have had a winning season. So
wow,
pretty big deal here.
You are the voice of the Sayre Eagles on Sayre Eagles TV at Wright.media, and you've gotten some help over the last 2 seasons. Wyatt Porter has done a great job stepping in, and you and him do an outstanding job on the broadcast.
Wyatt is he's amazing for a 17-year-old when he started. He sounded like a seasoned pro the first time he opened his mouth, and I'm lucky I still have a job, honestly.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. The first game he did with you, I'm sitting there listening. I'm like, I guess I'll hold on to this job as long as I can because they'll probably want to move him up if he sticks around.
Yeah, he really is good. He's very knowledgeable, loves the game, and he makes the rides to and from ball games a whole lot more fun. They're my grandchildren now. Him and our cameraman Rocky, and we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I got to golf with you back in July at the Sayre Athletic Scramble, and they were on our squad. And hey, kudos to you for recruiting them for the team, because those two kids can swing the woods, and it was a lot of fun. But they were really great kids, and just a lot of fun to be around. Coach Craig Hickson now into his 4th season. What is it that he's been true to his system. He doesn't vary off of what he does well. What is it that he's been able to get out of this year's team that he maybe didn't last year or the year before?
Well, several things have played a factor into this being a different year. First of all, we're healthier than we were last year. We were in the exact same position we were this year as we were last year. 5-4 going into the last game of the season with Hinton. But last year, we were just looking for anybody that could play quarterback. I mean, I think we had 4 guys play quarterback in that last ball game, and it was wet and rainy that day. And that's not the way you want to try to finish out the season. So this year we're healthier. And then the second thing is moving Jagger Wooten into the quarterback role in the 3rd game of the season against Carnegie. You could kind of see that things were going to change a little bit. Jagger throws the ball really well for a sophomore, especially a kid that's been at Sayre and hasn't been throwing the ball around all over the yard like a lot of kids that come in as freshmen and sophomores. So that has allowed Coach Hickson to change the offense a little bit, allow it to grow some as the season has gone on. And when I talked to him after the game Friday night, he said, this is just the way the offense is designed. Once the guys learned how to be physical and learned how to be able to run the ball, the next step was to be able to incorporate the passing game. And now we got a guy that can sling it pretty good. And it's a different offense. And I guarantee you, Wynnewood, if they haven't studied their tape real well, will be in for a surprise.
Yeah, and Wynnewood really kind of a prohibitive favorite. I know Fairview, I guess, fell into that 1 seed in the brackets, but Wynnewood probably just right there with them. And I know they've got a lot of history in their tradition in their school. What is it that they do that we'll look forward to Sayre having a match?
Well, their offense isn't that much different than Sayre's. It kind of looks like the double wing set. It's not exactly the same, but they spread it out. Sayre is, they've got 8 guys within 4 yards of the football, where Wynnewood will spread it out a little bit. They'll look to get to the outside with their speed, and they'll throw the ball when they need to. They certainly have the capability of doing that. But the key is really Eagles are going to have to be sound on defense. The defensive ends are going to have to set the edge, either push the running backs back up the middle so that they've got some help, or push them out wide so that the Eagles can gang tackle. But really and truly, that's really the only difference is they just have probably a little more speed, and they'll look to go outside where the Eagles will look to go between the hash marks.
All right, Luke.
Max, me and you both, the teams that we call for play inside the same district, and I think that you can confidently say that it's the toughest district in Class A1 with Hooker, Cashin, and Fairview. And Sayre's able to hold on to the 4th seed. I think it says a lot about the fight and just the energy with that team. Talk about that.
Well, as Coach Hickson says, it's the SEC of Class A. And, and this year, every loss that the Eagles have is to a team that was ranked in the top 5 of the state. Thomas, of course, was top 5. Hooker, Cashin, Fairview, all in the top 5. So the Eagles aren't going to be scared to go to Watonga and to Wynnewood and face them. It's just really another game. And I think that gives the Eagles an edge, whereas, a lot of teams that are the 4th seed in the district coming up against the number 1 seed from another district probably, have a little bit of sense of awe in that, especially Wynnewood with their tradition, they're 10-0. There's 100 guys on the sideline. I've never seen a Class A team with as many players. They got 17 seniors. And you
Wow.
think, oh my gosh, they're gonna lose a bunch of kids. Well, no, they got 10 juniors and 14 sophomores and 14 freshmen. So they've got a lot going on. But the Eagles, I really don't think will be awestruck. I think they'll just go in there, play their game, and they've already been through the fire. So just go out there and go play loose, and have fun.
In 2022, I think Fairview brought 60 players to Bob Ross Field in Thomas. It seemed like it was orange and black from the bus all the way to the 50-yard line. Max Patten, you'll be on the broadcast this Friday night with Drew and Wyatt Porter. And be sure and tell Drew I think he does an outstanding job for me.
100%.
I will definitely tell him that he does do a great job, and he's a lot of fun to be around. So I really enjoy having Drew there.
Good deal. And that makes it great to have a great broadcast team you enjoy being with. And you can hear Max and the Sayre Eagles taking on the Winningwood Savages on Friday night. Pregame will be at 6:30 on Sayre Eagles TV at Wright.media. So thank you, Max.
Thank you.
All right. Aaron Kauk from Big Elk TV, Kool 94 on Paragon. And Aaron, I mentioned this when I came on your show. We go a long ways back from 2014 and my Friday night finals days. I used to be board op there at iHeart and would record your Big Elk reports. You were the most steady out of all of the play-by-play guys that called in a report.
I learned it from Sean Wilson before me, and that was one of the things he told me. You have to turn in a report for Friday night finals, no matter if it's good or if it's bad.
Yeah.
You have to do it every single week.
That's right. And
I did it. I did it, and there was a couple of times where I'll never forget the 84-70 Elk City Newcastle game from 2017 football season. Maybe I'm not so sure you guys would have made a 30-minute exception waiting for us to get off the air for me to call in and tell exactly what happened.
I'm trying to think if I was there for that or not. That doesn't ring a bell. So I'm trying to think if I took 2017 off.
So
I can't remember.
Randy was just waiting on the phone call.
Oh yeah, Randy was waiting on every phone call. And then Randy, if you're wondering, we're talking about Randy Renner, former News 9 reporter, and then went to work for iHeart. Now I think he works part-time for them, but he was one of the co-hosts on Friday Night Finals. And he had his phone set to alert tone every time a score came in. So he'd be in the middle of giving scores, ding, ding, Anyways, but Aaron, you are the voice of Big Elk football, and it has been a wild season for the Elk City Elks in the fact that they really played nip and tuck with the Weatherford Eagles and the Clinton Red Tornadoes. Close games on both sides. Clinton, at the time, as of Friday night, Clinton was looking at a trip to Tuttle to take on the number 1 ranked Tuttle Tigers. But after some things on Saturday, now you're going to Ardmore. I looked at this Ardmore team on tape last week, and I'm telling you something. Not that Elk City will be unfamiliar with a run-based team, but they've got some speed, and they like to run that flex bone and that wing tee.
Yeah, it was so weird because after the loss to Weatherford, everybody knew what was on the table that night, and it was you lose, you go to Tuttle. For us. And kudos to Coach Maynard, to the seniors for not just laying down, going and beating Bridge Creek, beating Woodward, even though you knew what was happening. So we left the stadium, and it was just crazy. About 1 o'clock, I get a phone call from Coach Hunt, and he's like, "We're going to Ardmore." And I was like, "What? What just happened?" And I started looking around. Kudos. Let me say this first. Kudos to Mr. Meggett for doing the right thing for his school.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do. He's 3 months into the job, and that's the right thing, and Coach Maynard was on my show this morning, and everybody over here feels terrible for the Clinton seniors, for that coaching staff, because of what they're going to face. But at the same time, great job by Nathan. I mean, he did what was supposed to happen, and he did it. And that's the right way to do things, because yes, we all want to win. We all want to win a state title. We all want to do this. But at the end of the day, the actual truth is we're trying to raise young men to be young men.
Yeah.
And that's an example of doing that correctly. And kudos to Nathan and everybody at Clinton for doing the right thing, even though it obviously sucks having to go to Tuttle. For us, oh yeah, everybody's excited because instead of going to a funeral, basically at Tuttle, you might have a chance against Ardmore. They're a weird team to me looking at them. They just explode off the film.
Yeah.
Making big plays on both sides of the ball. I think the matchup for us is if we can do what we do, punch them in the mouth, make a 10-minute drive, you've got a chance. And that's the whole thing. Being able to, and we won't get impatient. If we get 3 yards every play, we'll go for it on 4th and 1 and try to get another yard. And then just the more that we can keep that offense off the field and the more that we can keep their defense from scoring, because if you watch them, they score on defense all the time. Just pick sixes all over the place.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's interesting because 4A2 plays a different style than 4A1 does. 4A1 is hit you in the mouth, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much they get that. So it's a contrast of styles, no doubt about it. We're clearly the underdog, but after the loss to Weatherford, those seniors they rallied around each other, and I can't wait to see what happens. It gives me. And I know Zach's going to hate me for saying this, but it gives me 2021 vibes. Going to Cushing, they were an incredible team, but we were tougher.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you hope carries through for the Elks.
So just on my historical basis, and Marty can help me also, that was the Clinton State Championship year.
Correct.
You guys met in the semifinals. Was that at SWASU or was it?
Yes, correct. 100%. And Marty can say this. I'll say it. The two best teams played that night.
I think that's the consensus. Yeah.
The toughest teams played that night anyhow.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember that was my final season on Friday Night Finals. And that was the year that Grove was playing Wagner in a district game. And and they were in overtime and the coach took a safety to not, because he thought he would lose he thought he would give Wagner the 15 points for them to pass him up, or it was weird or something. But and then you guys made the trip to Grove that season.
We did. We had a great pizza joint in the middle of Grove. I can't remember what it's called. It was delicious. And then we actually just beat their brakes off. Emmanuel Crawford was an incredible running back, and he got loose a couple times, but the Elks were tougher that year. And it's sort of just watching. That's the hope, is it reminds you of that year.
Guys, Luke, can you take over for a second?
Yeah. Chuck kind of alluded to it there. The two close games with Weatherford especially. Playoffs are all about close games. How can having those close games in the regular season, help out in the playoffs?
I actually think we saw it last week, to be honest with you, because Elk City was ahead of Clinton through 3 quarters, basically. Same way with Weatherford. And then last week against Woodward in a game that everybody in the brown and white knew they had to win. Woodward ties it at 14 going into the 4th quarter, but the Elks dominated the 4th quarter. And I think they probably learned some lessons from the Clinton game and definitely the Weatherford game about having to figure out how to finish the game. And they got it done. And I can't say enough, because without what happened on Friday night at Clinton, everybody wearing the brown and white knew, walking out of Eagle Stadium, we got to go to Tuttle if we make the playoffs. And for those guys to man up and win those 2 games, we always said, hey, you got a chance. Well, it turns out it's a totally different chance than we thought. But kudos to everybody to get over that Weatherford loss, as crushing as it was. And then all of a sudden you end up with this opportunity that you never saw coming, but now you have one.
Well, and also, I mean, you had to go face Woodward, and granted they were at your place. Woodward gave us everything we wanted. I mean, we had to come back against them. They're one of those teams. I looked at their roster, and next season they're going to be tough to deal with in district play. Looking at the Elks this season, and I heard you mention this on your Monday show after the Weatherford game. Neither camera crew really was able to get the neither camera crew was really able to get the push in the back on the Jeremiah Jackson
Right. Yeah.
kickoff return touchdown. I didn't argue it, and I wasn't going to, but I looked back on it and we couldn't see it either. But that game was just so crazy because Weatherford goes up 7-0. Then Elk City scores 21 unanswered. Then Weatherford ended up scoring 21 unanswered. But I tell you, it's been an indoctrination for me, and Marty can attest to this too. The I-40 rivalry and the Custer County conflict and things, they just hit different.
Oh, I mean, it's different. And, Woodward is sort of, I don't know how you guys are with that, with Westford and Clinton, but Woodward is even the same way with us. Woodward one is almost more nasty than the other two. There's some respect down the I-40 and here and there. The Woodward one's pretty nasty, and there was times where it could have got out of hand. Kudos to the guys that were refereeing the game, knowing that was coming or whatever. But yeah, I after watching the way that Weatherford beat Woodward and maybe shouldn't have, that was a real concern last Friday night. And it's like I said, especially when they tied the game at 14 with a minute or so to go in the third quarter, it felt like it was Groundhog Day, just like Weatherford. But the guys wearing the brown and white just said, no, we're going to win this game. Who cares who we play? We got to go. We'll try our best against Tuttle and move on. And it turns out that didn't happen. But those guys, for the first time ever in Elk City High School history, the football team has made the playoffs for 6 years in a row.
Wow.
That's never happened.
So
those seniors decided they weren't going to be the ones to break that streak.
Yeah. Those the 2021 team, was that Dave Meadows?
Second year. He came COVID year, went to Ada, got in the playoffs just because everybody did. And then the 2021 team was Dave's second year.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, and then Zach Maynard took over in 2022, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So last question, or Luke, you can have one more question if you want of Skinny. This coach, I've interviewed Coach Maynard for our sports when I was sports director there at
about 20-second clips as well.
Yeah, he's a good interview. I mean, all the Elk City coaches are good interviews. But I'll say this, if Coach Meadows brought a toughness, Coach Maynard has emphasized it probably even a little more. I mean, I'm so glad Tucker Garza is graduating this season. I don't want to see him again.
That dude, so he was a freshman with the green gloves. He scored 5 touchdowns in a game against Chickasha that at that time was the district title sort of game in the middle of the season after the Elks had beat Clinton. He scores 5 touchdowns as a freshman, and then he tears his ACL at Woodward that year. Then last year, about the second basketball game, he tears his other ACL. And for him to do what he's done, especially the last couple of weeks, like you got to see, I think, Garza become Garza again that night at Weatherford. We hadn't seen it all year where he trusted himself, even though he knew what was going on. He became what everybody thought he was going to be 4 years ago. And that's carried over through the last couple of weeks. Last week, he just took the game over in the fourth quarter. He scored a 17-yard touchdown, first play of the fourth quarter, ran another one 70 yards when we got the ball back. I cannot be – I've known him for a long time, and he's always had kind of been that kid that wanted to be that guy, and he's become the guy that we all thought he was always destined to be clear back as a freshman.
All right. Luke, you got anything for Aaron Kauk?
Not off the top of my head. Go ahead, Chuck.
All right. So looking at the brackets, you're going to face Ardmore. You guys go on the air at 6:30.
6:20.
6:20. Okay. I might ask.
Zach was a little long-winded today, so we got to have an extra 10.
All right. So if you did get past Ardmore, that would probably send you to Cushing, and the Tigers are an extremely good team.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, 2021, that's where we started the playoffs that year.
Yeah.
We'll have to make sure that Culver Electric has us a generator because you got to set fans, and there's no power. Unlike Cash, at least there's power in Cash. Unlike there, you got to have a generator to run your stuff. But that's, like I said, it reminds me of 2021 a little bit with who's in front. And if we can be as physical as we think we can be, you never know.
All right. Max Patten, you've got a fan on here saying Dakota Miller saying, bring us home a win, Max. Let's see. Let me unmute you
Takes
there.
care of the stats and helps me out a lot with sending me the stats. So thanks to Dakota and appreciate.
I'll tell you about Dakota. Dakota's a terrible fantasy football player.
Well, Skinny, you haven't seen my league.
He's actually won our league 2 years in a row. So
I lost last week to a guy who got 9 points out of his quarterback, and I had to ship out Mahomes and bring in Davis Mills, and he did good for me. Marty Wandrie, a fan on here, is commenting, let's go Reds. That's Ashley M. Taylor. So let's go ahead. Hey, Skinny, thanks so much for the Elk City breakdown. And you and Jared Atha will be on the broadcast on Kool 94 and Big Elk TV on Paragon. And it'll be, you guys do a great job over there.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it.
Right. Hey, and also, you really kind of tee me off a little bit because during basketball, you call the game and you have all those sponsors for every single aspect of the floor or the game. And then you also run camera. And if Wright Media asks me to do that for Weatherford, I'm just going to walk out.
It's like NASCAR. It's like NASCAR. Everybody's got a sponsor.
That's right. All right. Aaron Kauk, the voice of Elk City Elks football. And thank you for joining us tonight, Skinny.
Thank you, Chuck.
All right. Skinny on Sports also 9 to 10-ish, I guess, on KADS there in Elk City. All right. Marty Wandrie, we've got a Clinton Red Tornado fan. Ashley M. Taylor says, let's go Reds. Marty, Aaron touched on it, and Luke and I can probably – Luke's reported on it. But, I mean, it really was – I was at SWASU judging a chili tasting or a chili contest when all of a sudden a Weatherford parent showed me a Facebook post from the Blanchard athletic director, and I thought it was a fake. I didn't think it was real. And then next thing you know, it turns out that Clinton was required to forfeit the Douglas game, which they won handily. Really, no doubt in that game going forward. But what's the mood and mentality? Not just the fact that, like Aaron mentioned, the dread of having to face the Tuttle Tigers, but also just having, your spot in the district kind of taken out from under you.
Yeah, I think Saturday about 12:30, I think I ate some of that 5-alarm chili because it started coming up about 12:30, 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon from heartburn. All this heartburn I was getting Saturday afternoon with all what was going on. It's one of those deals that something slipped through the cracks. Don't know what happened. Don't really care now because it is a moot point.
Yeah.
I feel for the seniors that, did do what they needed to do to get where they needed to be to have a home game. It's one of those situations that, we can't look back on it now. We had our last say in it today. It was denied. And understandably, I can understand both sides on what I have heard, what was going on. But, I know Coach Higbee and in the coaching crew, they from what I could see, they were getting ready for Tuttle most of the week. So it's one of those deals that
Sure.
Hey, we got Tuttle Friday night, and we'll go down there and play some ball.
Well, and I'll let Luke take it here in a minute, but Aaron summed it up perfectly. It's not just about wins and losses. It's about life lessons. And I sat and thought about it today. And, it's always worse when you try to hide something and then it gets revealed later. It's never better. And so while it stinks that you have to self-report it or whatever the case was, whatever the issue was, and I heard it was a very minor issue, but I'm sure that the OSSAA doesn't want to go setting precedents now. But the thing about it is it is tough. It's a tough card, but it is a life lesson. And if I think as like Aaron mentioned, Nathan Meggett, the superintendent, and then all of your administration there at Clinton, they're sending the right message to these kids.
Yeah, I got a phone call from Nathan about 1:30 Saturday, kind of explaining what was going on, and it's the right thing to do. no one learns a lesson by not doing the right things. I mean, doing the wrong things it's no way to teach your kids what life is really like. I mean, there's consequences for things that, even though they're a mistake, there is consequences for things that do happen.
Yeah. And so really, as we mentioned in the preview, you and Dennis Smith and Alan Bryson do a great job on the broadcast on Red Tornado TV at Wright Media, and also 97.3 The Score on the radio. It's been a topsy-turvy season, but I'll tell you this much. I kind of had a feeling going into the Custer County conflict that you guys played a little possum against Chandler the week before.
Well, I was actually gone the Chandler and Weatherford game. So, I was overseas and I was watching it. 2:00 a.m. is when the game started for me. So, I wasn't bright-eyed and bushy-tailed during that time frame. So, I got to see most of it. All the coaches tell you game 1 through 3. Even though you want to win, you want to go undefeated, 1 through 3 don't matter. It's game 4 through 10 that does.
True.
And we knew we had some problems with penalties and everything else throughout the year, but we finally got things kind of rolling there once district play started.
Yeah. And really, in essence, finished second in the district. Obviously, anybody that follows District 1 of Class 4A knows that Elgin is the Cadillac of football programs in our district right now. They defeated each of our programs handily. But having looked at it after that, there were times where it looked like Clinton football was just kind of being Clinton football. And one in particular was the second half against the Weatherford Eagles, where your sophomore quarterback, Easton Powell, really took over the game. And I would imagine, Coach Higby's going to try to dial some of that up against the Tuttle Tigers.
Yeah, I know District 4A1, they're kind of getting tired of that Powell name at quarterback over the last 4 to 6 years. He is a real, I mean, almost not, I won't say clone, but he's physical, just like his brother was.
Yeah.
He can take over that game when he needs to. And he can move the ball down the field for us, almost not by himself, but, our offensive line has done a real good job for him this year, keeping some holes open so he can get through and take off down the field. But District 4A1 has always been, I've been helping with the rodeo since the late 90s, and Dennis and Alan, you've been doing it long. Dennis has been doing it for 132 years, I think. But
he said 38. Yeah. Whether it's 138 or whether it's 100, it's all the same.
He actually did high school games when I was in high school. That's how long he's been doing it. Class 4A1 is just a different breed of football compared to, we always hear about Eastern Oklahoma, and don't get me wrong, they have some great programs like Wagner and all them, but through years and years and years, we always heard, hey, they got East Side team coming up, and in the 90s, Elk City and Weatherford in the 2000s, us, throughout the decades, we're one of the only schools that has won in 7 different decades. Have won a state championship. Mm-hmm. But they, Class 2A, 4A2 with Tuttle and all them has always been real good, real up there. But we'll do our best when we go down there Friday night.
Skinny, I want to ask you about this too, and Luke, you'll get I'll pass it over to you after this. But the I-44 corridor, all the way from Tri-Cities down into the Elgin area, and then probably Cache into the Lawton area as well. They seem to be accumulating resources, players, things like that. It's going to be a head-to-head meeting between the Western Oklahoma teams and that I-44 corridor. What are we talking about with regards to how we kind of counter that?
Keep them growing. Get them out of here. Let them go to 5A.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it any nicer. It just they grow and we don't. It's a different animal. With obviously Elgin and Cache, there's different times where one of them is better. Elgin's right now, And then in that Tri-City area, you think back, I was thinking about the bus trips for even the first round. Used to, it could be a long one with 4A too, because there was no one here. Tuttle, everybody else is 2A or 3A.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden they're 4A, almost 5A. Get them out. And then all of a sudden I-40 is a lot different deal. But we play a different style. We are like Marty said, for all the years, we're more physical than the way they want to play. I think 2021 was a perfect example. Tuttle was going to be this monster that Clinton had to play in the finals, and they ran him over. It just wasn't even a game. That's not the case this year because Tuttle is what they are. But maybe they've adapted a little bit to the style that they had to play in that first round, because 4A1's always been smash you in the face with Mike, with Woody, and everybody at Weatherford the same way. They just want to run you over.
Yep. Luke?
Marty, back to Clinton. I think one of the interesting things with them this year was head coach John Higbee being gone for the majority of the year, and Gene Ray being tagged with the interim title. Just talk about Gene Ray taking over for a little bit.
Yeah, Gene. I've known Gene for a long time, especially with I help with the soccer programs, a lot over the years, for about 10 or 15 years, doing the filming and all that other stuff. And Gene's a great guy. He put a lot of pressure on himself this year that I seen. I mean, it was him, when I would talk to him after the first 3 games after the post game, it was him not doing something right, but he stepped into a tough situation with a young team, and the first 3 games didn't go the way we wanted, but Higbee started coming in there. Of course, he always talked to Higbee, so there's always communication, even though Higbee couldn't be out there at the time. But he did a good job. I'd say a great job keeping the team together, without their main man, Higbee, sitting there, with him. So he did a great job getting them through the first 6 or 7 games. I think Higbee started coming back down. I think he was in the press box maybe during the Weatherford game or Elk City game, and then the Cash game, he came down at the halftime, and then that's when he started coming back on the sidelines, which everybody's happy to see him on there. Just glad to be able to see him this year, because there was a chance that we might not see him at all this year.
Well, and Coach Higbee's a presence. I mean, that guy walks in a room, you know it's his room, and he's the funnest to interview in Western Oklahoma. Not always the cleanest as far as but he's going to give you great answers, and it's a lot of fun. And when I do the previews preseason, he's a blast, and it makes me hard to hate the Clinton Red Tornadoes, but yet somehow I do. And Marty called me a dirty bird on Saturday. That wasn't very nice. So anyways, but yeah, Clinton with a tough test on Friday, but like we said, the silver lining is you'll get to see that brand new Chad Richardson donated press box, which, hey, I hear had to be handicap accessible, so it'll be an elevator ride instead of a big stair climb. That's got to be nice.
That is great, because my knees aren't what they used to be. even though I've lost quite a bit of weight, that's just my knees about shot.
It's tough, and Aaron and Marty both. We faced Tuttle 2 seasons ago. They had some really fast and skilled players. Obviously, they played Elgin last year in a really great state title game. The Ritzenmeyer kid for Elgin, he carried it 42 times in that state finals game. So what they want to do. But how does Tuttle come back better this year, because they lost the McAdoo kid?
Yeah. They lost a lot of people yesterday. Oh, I'm sorry. That Campbell kid, he's a pretty good quarterback, guys. I mean, if you look at their stats this year, they're about as 50-50 as you can get. They got around 4,000 yards, 2024 rushing or passing, and 1983 and rushing this year. So they're a 50-50 team, and it's going to be a long haul to be able to cover both ends of that on that end. They are a good even team.
Yep.
We went down there last year for the first round, and by the way, that press box is unbelievable.
Oh,
listen, it's awesome. they'll hook you up with all the things you need for your broadcast. You don't even have to keep the time or nothing. They've got it all. But that was the thing that impressed me about them was they got the dudes on the outside with Campbell throwing the football, and they would kind of almost pass early to set up Roundsville to just run you over. And they lost some guys on defense that aren't there. Avalos was the linebacker that made every tackle last year. But it appears they're better. Like last year, I thought Elgin was going to run them out of the gym, honestly, in the finals. And it started that way. But kudos to Tuttle for keeping that game as close as it was, because Elgin's offensive line, we've all been around 4A football forever. I've never seen one like that.
That was an all-timer.
It was ridiculous, that offensive line.
Yeah.
And Tuttle hung in there until it was a great game. For me, I think Tuttle wins that game in the finals. And for 4A, it's so much fun until you have to play one of those two. Every other matchup looks awesome. I mean, you guys against Blanchard to be a great game. Us against it's like all the way through. You got Grove and Salisaw. You got Ada and Fort Gibson. Those are going to be fun games until you have to meet one of the behemoths that's in the bracket.
Yeah. And, moving on a little bit to the Weatherford Blanchard game, and we want to thank Ashley Taylor. She comments, you can always hear Coach Higbee in the press box. Glad to have him as the coach, watching my stepson, number 8, Potter, for the Reds. Wish them no injuries and a big win. So, hey, really, we wish all of our Western Oklahoma squads wins going into Friday night, first round of the playoffs. And we'll kind of do some polling at the end of this, even with Max and Kenny, who I apologize. You guys have kind of been hanging on through all this 4A talk, but we'll get you going here in a minute. But this Weatherford Blanchard game, I got a text from a Clinton fan, said you guys will beat Blanchard by 2 touchdowns. I'm just going to say this: Weatherford probably could beat Blanchard by 2 touchdowns. They may be up 2 touchdowns after a half. I don't know. I mean, I talked to Coach Sauceman today. They've got to put a full game together, and they have put some really great strings together, but some of these come from behind wins, and we had to come from behind against Woodward. It'll be interesting if the playoffs is where Weatherford kind of puts it all together. And Luke, you've seen a bunch of this Weatherford team through your job and reported on them. Noah Wald, the senior quarterback, his first run starting, it's just been an amazing run for him. And he just, I mean, when you talk about the zone read, I just, did not know he would come in and operate it like he has.
I'm not sure the exact number of touchdowns that he has, but I feel like 90% of the Weatherford touchdowns have been courtesy of Noah Wald this season.
He's up there. I mean, he's the leader.
When you look at him, he doesn't really look like a running, like he could be a running quarterback. He kind of a lanky looking kid, but he can really get out in open space and move.
Yeah. Ricky Rodriguez checked in also, Marty, big Red Tornado alum and fan also. So, but yeah, I watched this Blanchard team, and it's funny how much we've depended on the running quarterback, Ty Short, the running back, the jet sweeps. And I kind of asked Coach Sauceman today, they call it eye candy now with the jet sweeps and stuff. It does so much to set it up, but I mean, some of these teams in District 2, like Aaron mentioned, they're just flat airing it out.
How is Noah's knee? Is he okay? Is he healthy?
Yeah, I saw him today. They were finishing up Iron Eagle and some workouts, and he looked like he was okay. They wanted to give him the rest, I believe, senior night. And then sophomore Hunter Hargis comes in, rushes for 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns. It's just he had a pick 6 and 3 fumbles. So other than that, he would have had a banner night. But there was also a little bit of Bridge Creek. And I asked Coach going into the game week if Bridge Creek did some stat padding in a way. And he didn't answer it, obviously. But I get the feeling that, they asked for a running clock in the second half, I think. They do the running clock. We put in 2s, they leave in their 1s, and then kind of went from there. So they had a lot of passing yards going into that game, and then I think we had them under 50 at half, leading 33-0, and then they kind of did some things to make it a little more interesting at the end. But this Blanchard team, they're 2 seasons off of a state title, and those teams like that, I kind of fear them in the playoffs. That's just my own little worried mind.
Blanchard, I mean, it's a team like that. They know how to win, kind of like Thomas, like Clinton. They've been there a lot. All the kids have experience, and they know what it takes.
Yeah. And, it's, I'm not going to lie. I prefer this as opposed to a trip to Ardmore. Sorry, Skinny. Sorry, Marty. But, we were looking at, I studied Ardmore tape last week, and we were looking at it, and I'm sure that the coaching staff was getting things ready to prep for that flex bone and the wing tee that they run and all the speed that they present. But I will say this, it was a situation where it's nice to see, and I would have given us a chance to go down to Ardmore and win. I mean, but looking at it now, if we do get the home playoff win, then we likely go to Broken Bow, and that is so far away. Marty, Skinny, have you guys been to Broken Bow before or down that far southeast?
I've played when I was playing golf at SWASU, one of our guys that played as well was from Broken Bow. He's now the head golf coach at UCO for the women. It's Michael Bond. I made a couple of trips down to Broken Bow and played in golf tournaments with him. It's a long ways down there, but good news is, Chuck, you can take your wife down for a nice extra long weekend and just hang out down there in Ho Chi Town or Broken Bow or whatever else. It'll be fine.
We did an anniversary there in 2009 and 2011, and the change from 2009 to 2011 was pretty stunning. And I can only imagine what it's been like since then. But no, the Blanchard Lions, they present a lot of issues. They've got a receiver that is just top shelf, and he's caught nearly 1,000 yards. And I'll say this for any high school team, you always are probably going to have some worries on your back end. With a receiver who could be a collegiate prospect. But I do like the pressure that the linebacker core brings for Weatherford. And then offensively, it'll be nice to see them kind of put together a full half or a full game if they can. And the home playoff setting hopefully will be conducive to that. And it'll be interesting to see, special teams as well. We've had a few times where we've lost focus on some kickoff returns. Skinny could probably think of one.
I'll say.
But, it's one of those things where we'll look forward to meeting the Lions. And, Blanchard went to Tuttle and I think hung with them for a quarter, maybe something like that, maybe a little bit. But, you never can discount anybody who's won a state championship in the last 5 years.
For you guys, number 9, Clift, the linebacker, is unbelievable. He's not the biggest dude of all times, but he makes plays after plays after plays.
He does. Callan Clift is just a sophomore, and I'm telling you guys, Marty, you and Skinny and Luke, you doing the reporting knew that last year's senior class had so much expectation. And you had CJ Nixon, the D1 recruit, top 4-star recruit in Oklahoma. And then, just kind of went out with a thud, unfortunately. And I don't think anybody thought that this defense would recover because they replaced every single starting linebacker this season. And, Preston King has 3 pick sixes. Callan Clift leads the team in tackles. I mean, they're a squad that just – they get out, and my partner Jared Jones has nicknamed them the Wild Boys, and that really is kind of fitting. That's kind of what they do. I think probably the one game besides the Elgin game, it seemed like Clinton had some success blocking us on the edges for that pitch sweep and stuff, which that's what Clinton does. And then really Kingfisher's probably the team that tested our secondary the most. Luke?
Go ahead. I didn't hear the question. Say it again.
Oh, I didn't ask the question. I was just going to pitch it to you. All right. So pick-wise, I like Weatherford to advance. I'd probably say I'm 70-30 on that. Marty, I know it's tough odds going to Tuttle. Skinny, Elk City goes to face a tough Ardmore team. I think you guys can hang with them. But 4A, I mean, I don't want to sound defeatist, and I'll ride this train as long as we can go. But I mean, you could play Elgin and Tuttle tomorrow, and crown a state champion.
Well, that's probably the truth, but I wouldn't give none of our teams. I wouldn't be surprised if none of our teams pull out a victory. I might be a little more surprised with ours because of the tough matchup. About broke my chair there, but they they're always ready for playoffs. Our teams, I-40 is always really ready for playoffs. They said the same thing in 2021 when I believe the two best teams did play on the semifinals, even though Tuttle's crew was the one saying that was their semifinal was the state championship. I'd beg to differ. I think that Elk City Clinton in 2021 was the best game of the playoffs. I kind of had both edges there because Dave Meadows was my high school football coach. So I have a soft spot for Dave, and with what was going on there. But that game in 2021 for the state championship just proves that you can't count a 4A1 team out on either side. But I think Weatherford's got a good chance as long as they can stop the passing game for Blanchard. I would love the chances against Ardmore. I guarantee you that with our running defense and stuff like that. But Blanchard Blanchard between those two might have been a worse matchup for us with our secondary, with most of them being injured, but they're all back now. So I like to see what we can do with a full team, even though we're going against the juggernaut of Tuttle, outscored their points this year, 555-41.
Yeah, they were a monster. And hey, back down to Class A. Max, you guys have we mentioned a tough pull against Wynnewood, and they are undefeated and highly ranked. But if by chance the Sayre Eagles don't pull out the upset, are you going to go the next week and cheer on Rejoice Christian against Hooker?
I am not uttering the word of the town up in the Oklahoma Panhandle that we played on the fourth week of the season.
Hey, so, I'm telling you, their coach is a nice guy, and he helped me out the year I did Thomas play-by-play with their rosters and stuff like that. I never had to go to Hooker. That year we went to Texoma, but when they came, and Kenny will remember this, that was a down year for Thomas. They led 55-0 at the half in the final game of the season, and it was cold, and I had run out of positivity. I mean, it was just let that clock run. Let's get on out of here. But the way the Terriers have turned it around, it would have been interesting, and it is interesting, Kenny, how this division in Class A into two divisions really has just you can say it would be an easier route for Thomas to get to a state championship game, but I don't really know. I think if you put the top four in Class A1 and the top four in Class A2, you could make a heck of a quarterfinals there.
I think you could. I really do. You look at the top teams in this bracket right here, and you're talking Thomas and Mangum and Hominy. Those are the folks that were always up there close for Class A1, or what we used to call Class A. But I really think that they could handle their own against the Class A1.
Yeah. Does Ringley have a state title in the last 5 years?
I don't think they do in the last 5 years. No.
Okay. I think there was a year they were favored, and maybe
they got some runner-ups. I know that.
Yeah. And Luke, you're a Minko alum, so you know a little bit about it. I think they were a favorite in like 2021, and then Cashin got them, and everybody thought Cashin was a little down that year.
2021 was Cashin Ringling in the state game. I was lucky enough to play both of those teams in my senior year, so that was a lot of fun.
And so the Minko alum here with us, Luke, you're going to be going to your alma mater Friday night and handle the PA duties for the Minko team.
Indeed, their normal PA who's been doing the PA since my older brother was in high school is not going to be able to be there on Friday, so I got asked to fill in. Pretty excited about it, but I've never done PA, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, I got to say I did PA for Swansea volleyball one time, and I swore I never want. I want to be unseen, and I don't want I want people to have to type something to react to how bad I am. I don't want to be getting dirty looks from the crowd.
Hey, can we blame the Thomas loss to Mangum on Eddie ET2? Eddie can we please blame that on Eddie?
Yeah, I told Eddie whenever we walked away, we're bringing Mike back.
Exactly right. Eddie shows up for one game and it just all goes to pot.
Eddie did a great job. That's the first time I ever got to meet him. But to call a football game like that, what had been 3 years or something since Eddie had called a game for Sayre, and 4 years. Yeah, so he got to come back for one whale of a game. That's for sure.
Yeah. And it was a great broadcast, and Mangum's not the easiest place to broadcast from, as I found out in 2022 when I filled in for Max Patten, who had a child who decided to get married in September. So.
That's just what I told you. I really just didn't want to go to Mangum.
Max didn't want to go to the Liberty Bowl.
The Liberty Bowl.
That's right. But no, and Kenny, real quick, the Ringling – what is it they bring? I mean, what's their style? I'm not in depth on the Ringling football program.
Well, for the last 5-6 years, they're going to run it in between the tackles at you a lot. They'll try to throw it a little bit. Quarterback doesn't just have a cannon for an arm, so they're going to run it between the tackles. And their big number 6 quarterback, he's going to run it right at you. So it's kind of a bunch formation type deal, and they're going to come at you.
Well, when you mentioned Cash Willis and all the speed he brings, I started thinking about the fact that he should be in Weatherford red. So don't think I've forgotten. Hey, Max, I'm going to make sure that Winnie Wood does not allow anybody in the stands with those drill-operated train horns.
Please do that. Thank you very much.
Hey, that's a phobia of mine. People don't realize trains at night just sends shivers up my spine. And,
don't go to Moreland.
No, I've been to Moreland. And it's every 10 minutes. I don't understand how trains don't derail and head-on crash when they're going opposite directions every 10 minutes.
That train horn for Hooker travels. They came to Watonga a couple of weeks ago, and they brought the train horn with them.
It's on a trailer.
Yeah,
that's what got me in trouble. Was they were at Sayre, and I commented on the train horn. And they ran with it. So, you probably should not say that, you asked somebody to come shoot their train horn because they took it personally.
Well, I put a scroll up and a logo on the screen here, All-American Emergency Vehicle Upfitters. And I want Kenny McGuire to outfit the Sayre Eagles with some sort of trailer that they can counteract all the noise that Team Up in the Panhandle Max refuses to mention brings.
Well, I tell you, we can get it done, I guarantee you, but we're not going to test out the horn here in Thomas. We're just going to go ahead and ship it down to Weatherford and see what happens.
All right. Well, fellas, round table real quick. It's been a lot of fun. Luke, you do a great job there at Wright Media. Skinny, you with Skinny on Sports, you and Jared Atha, Marty Wandrie, Kenny McGuire, and Max Patten. You guys, amazing job. And I got to say, as Skinny can attest, I dealt with different folks at Oklahoma City and iHeart with different reports and different play-by-play. And even when I was doing stuff in Texas, they've got a great scoreboard show out of Floydada, the West Texas Friday night scoreboard show. And some of the reports that would be called in, I was kind of like, oh, my gosh. And so I got to say, all of the folks that I've come into contact with and have got to know out here do such an amazing job on their broadcast. And I know that your fans appreciate you and love what you guys do. And that even goes for Watonga, Luke. I know that, you've become a special son up there for the Eagles of Blaine County.
Hey, it's been a tough couple of years for the Eagles, but Greg Johnson, Watonga alum, give him a couple of years. I think he's going to turn it around.
They've got a rich history, and I know that they're looking to. So anyways, well, let's start to move our way on out of here. I want to thank everybody here on the panel. Max Patten from Sayre Eagles TV and Wright.media, farthest west that we have here on the coverage there in Beckham County, and you can catch them on Wright.media. Sayre Eagles TV. He and Wyatt Porter and Rocky Willis will have the broadcast for you, and also Drew Cobb we'll have the broadcast for you 6:30 on Friday night as they are at Wynnewood. And then also we'd be remiss if we didn't mention our good friend Aaron Kauk from Big Elk TV and Kool 94 on the Paragon Network. We appreciate you stopping in, Skinny. I know Jared Athot would have welcomed him in as well. I'm a peacemaker. That was my former occupation. I'm a peacemaker. So I came on your show. You came on mine. So everybody should be really happy with each other now.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it.
Aaron Kauk does a great job with Big Elk TV. Marty Wandrie on the sidelines for Red Tornado TV and 97.3 The Score as they will travel to Tuttle. Also forgot to mention Big Elks will be in Ardmore and Clinton will be in Tuttle taking on the Tigers. They'll be on the air at 6:30 as well on 97.3 The Score and Red Tornado TV at Wright.media. Kenny McGuire and Mike Crow. Mike Crow's a preacher, so he's always balking me on Wednesday night, and so we don't want to interfere with a preacher's ministry on Wednesday nights. But Mike Crow and Kenny McGuire do a great job on Terrier TV and KCLI 99.3 FM, Terrier TV at Wright.media as well. And then Luke Clement, you'll be on the sports tomorrow, and you've got a busy weekend. Something we didn't mention. You get to go up to that town up in what is that, Major County or
don't ask me the county. I don't want to be wrong.
One of them counties, but you get to go up to that school up north and broadcast what could end up being a big time winning season for the SWOSU Bulldogs on the sidelines.
Hopefully it will be a big game for the Bulldogs. You're right. They're 5-5. A win over Northwestern on Saturday would give SWOSU their first winning season since 2016. It's been a big year for the Bulldogs. Really hoping for another blowout win. Last year, SWOSU beat Northwestern 50-0. So hoping for another outing like that.
I bet the Rangers remember that.
I bet they do too.
And really, watching on Bulldog TV and listening on 95.5 The Coyote, that game Saturday, my gosh, to drop it. I mean, it was kind of rampant in college football last Saturday. Just those last second, Iowa lost on a last second field goal. Penn State lost on a last second touchdown in the back of the end zone, and then SWOSU on that long pass play. Just heartbreakers.
It was an absolute heartbreaker in Weatherford. SWOSU had control for the majority of the game, and it really looked like they were going to be able to pull it out. They scored a touchdown with just over 2 minutes left, and then Ouachita was down to their last play. It was 4th and 19, and a 51-yard bomb to take the lead and win it.
See, Marty, there is a team besides OU that'll give up a 4th and 19.
That's rude, Chuck. That's rude.
Just against K-State, though, most of the time.
Yeah,
all right. So Luke will be on the sideline Saturday, and then I'm going to be doing I'll break into some basketball on Saturday as the MIAA GAC crossover will be at the Pioneer Event Center in Weatherford. That's going to be Saturday afternoon as OBU and SWOSU will be representing the GAC against Northeastern State and Rogers State. So we'll have games on Friday and Saturday for that. And you can hear Mike Smith on the call Friday for the games. And then I'll do stream only on Bulldog TV on Saturday. So may overlap the football game a little bit, but it's a busy time of year. And guys, we may have to jump back on this. Kenny and Marty, you guys don't do any basketball, so you're dead to me after the playoffs. But Max and Skinny and Luke, you all do basketball too, so we may have to do a Western Oklahoma basketball preview as well.
Do it.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. I want to thank everybody here. Luke Clement, sports director at Wright.media, Kenny McGuire, Marty Wandrie, Aaron Kauk. Skinny is his name, Skinny on sports, and then also Max Patten, the voice of Sayre Eagles TV. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Lawdog. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And give us a subscribe here on our YouTube channel. Also follow us on Twitter, X, and Facebook at Lawdog Sports. I want to thank everybody here joining me tonight for Western Oklahoma Sports Night. We'll talk to you real soon. Thank you.